Hi friends! So today's video is something that I feel like everyone looks forward to every single year, and I look forward to it too, and I'm gonna be sharing with you my top albums of 2021. Woo. I've done this for, I believe, the past 4 years, I want to say? 3 years? So my all-time favorite album of 2018 this year was Hot Mulligan's Pilot. Hi guys! It was a decent year for albums, not my favorite. So today I'm gonna tell you guys my top favorite albums of 2020. And every year I feel like my music taste changes like a lot. Like this list this year is so different than any other year I've done, and I hope you guys are prepared because it's not, I don't know, it's so different. So hopefully you guys know some of them. But yeah, so for this, I'm not gonna do ratings like how I've done in the past. I'm just gonna talk about the album, what I liked about it, and I'll share my favorite song too, so let's go. To start off my list, number 1 I have Faves is Glock. I think. I can never remember the title, but the title is God's Trash Men Sent to Right the Mess. And my favorite off this album was Decoy. Such a beautiful song. Honestly, they all kind of flow together for me, but Decoy was a very good one. It has been on repeat for me since I even knew this album existed. Apparently this album came out January 1st of 2021, and I just found this album, I believe last month-ish. I saw someone post about it on TikTok and I was like, I literally could not stop listening to this. It is so dang good. But if you don't know, Faves Glock is a band from Brussels, and they're kind of, I think that they're new, or they like were separate bands before and they came into one band. To me personally, I think it's one of the most compelling albums of 2021. It's very different than anything I've heard come out this year. The album is this very like beautifully put together jazz-ish pop songs with a little bit of lo-fi in there. And it's just such a sweet and joyous experience, and I'm always really happy when I listen to it. And it's so short for how many songs are on there. It's only 34 minutes and I believe there's 20 songs, I want to say. Each song just like flows so well with each other. It just feels like you're listening to one giant song that you can tell is different songs, if you know what I mean. It's just so good. I listen to it all the time. It makes me feel like I'm in a French Wes Anderson type movie. It's so cute, and I highly recommend you guys check it out because it is chef's kiss. It's so good. And then number 2 on my list is also another one that I just found recently within the past month, and that is Dead Harry's Plant Franklin. And then my favorite off of this one was Plant Franklin. This album is like your very stereotypical but good slowcore album. I would describe it best as like a mix between Alex G and Duster. So if like the vocals, like the high-ish pitch vocals of Alex G and Duster had a baby. It's so good. This album is so pretty, it's so smooth, it flows together really well, just like I'm probably gonna say every album on here does. It's so good. I don't really have a lot to say about it besides it's slowcore and really good. And number 3 on my list, I don't think you'll be surprised because I feel like this is gonna be on everyone's list, and that is Turnstyles' Glow On. And then my favorite off this one was Mystery, just because it was like slow but then very just like din, din, din. Just like you could keep beat with it really well, and I really enjoyed the song. For me, this Turnstile album was extremely different from their older stuff, which I know you can very clearly tell, but it was kind of like a groovy mix between groovy kind of poppy tunes and then like their classic punk style that they usually have, and they made it really accessible for new listeners instead of just like the specific punk genre scene, I guess. It was more kind of friendly in a way, if you want to put it that way. I really liked it because I wasn't a huge fan of old Turnstile, but then listening to this I was like, okay, I can get down to this is pretty good. But then I started listening to old Turnstile and like, this is good too, so I think they definitely made it more inclusive for like tons of different people from different genre likings. I don't even know if that makes sense, but you know what I mean? And next I have Knocked Loose's EP. Again, I don't think you'll be surprised, and it's a tear in the fabric of life. I believe it's tear. If it's tear, I'm sorry, I don't know, don't yell at me. And my favorite song was Where the Light Divides the Holler. Oh my god, I know everyone's favorite was God Knows, but this one was my favorite, and then God Knows. It was still so good. But this EP, oh my god. It is Knocked Loose's hardest music to date, and I have been wanting Knocked Loose music that is harder than their old stuff, and we got it, and it's so dang good. I can't stop listening to it. It was so dark and like punchy sounding and almost like Mania in a way, just because it goes so fast, and it's just like super, not upbeat, but yeah, just really fast, and it was just like pew, pew, pew. It was so good. And then number 5 I have on my list is Fiddleheads Between the Richness. My favorite song was Eternal You. This album was if you had Title Fight in 2021. Again, so punchy and just like very post-hardcore feel with like a little bit of pop punk slipped in there. It was so good. Really reminded me of Title Fight, and I already liked Fiddlehead as it is, so kind of adding that little element in there was just like, oh, it was so nice. And this album is actually kind of sad. I don't know if anyone's actually listened to the lyrics, but it kind of captures the highs and lows of life. And it's a super deep and meaningful album. Like once I actually read the lyrics and everything and kind of read like a little backstory behind it, it has a lot of meaning. So I highly recommend that you check that out and kind of read what it's about, because it's a very beautiful album. So yeah. At number 6 on my list, I have Lower Town's The Gaping Mouth. My favorite song that I cannot stop listening to is The Gaping Mouth. It has been on like my top 5 most listened to songs for a very long time. It is such a great song. Oh my god, no one's talking about this album and it's making me so sad because it's so good. I only know one of my TikTok mutuals, me and him are like the only ones I know that have talked about it. It has a dark twist to it, but it's not like too edgy to where it's like kind of cringy. It's just like indie bedroom pop meets dark, twisted, indie acoustic. I don't know, it's a little hard to describe, but it's just the way it sounds is so unique and different from your normal like bedroom acoustic pop, and I think Olivia O from Lower Town really captures that feeling, and I really think that's what I liked about this album, was it was a lot different than what you usually hear from those like bedroom pop singers, and it was really cool and definitely an interesting listen. At number 7 on my list, I have one of my absolute favorites, and that is Aubrey Key's Good Morning. I'd say my favorite song from this album was Hot Dogs, 100%, so cute. It is such a cute alternative country emo acoustic album. The lyrics for all the songs in this album are very lusty and kind of cutesy angsty in a way. Aubrey has a way of like only adding guitars and like very simple instrumentals without adding like too much spice to like bring you in and listen, and it's such an interesting take that I think he has, and it's really unique and I really enjoy it. And the vocals are very airy and light and not like too in your face, and again like with the lyrics are the same way, they're just not like too in your face, very cutesy and stuff like that. But great job, Aubrey. I really love this album. And next up I have Howdy's album True Love. My favorite song was Around Again. I feel like that was a lot of people's favorites as well. Just a very cute and happy song, I think. I feel like they kind of had a little bit of a downfall, but this album brought them back up for sure. This album has very sharp lyricism, and it has heavy feels of like joy and happiness in it. It makes me feel really happy when I listen to it. And it also has like this added romantic spice to it. If you listen to some of the songs, they sound very like cutesy and romantic almost. And if you've never listened to Howdy before, they're kind of a mix between Spencer Radcliffe and, I'm sorry I keep mentioning him, but Alex G, just like the vocal style in a way, just kind of like clash them together and you get True Love by Howdy. And then number 9, I have Tyler the Creator's Call Me If You Get Lost. I feel like this one is going to be on almost everyone's top albums of the year. My favorite off that album was probably Lemonhead. That song really reminded me of like Goblin's, what am I trying to say? Of like Goblin's instrumental style. I really like that part of Goblin, just like the way the beats and everything sounded, not the lyrics. Do not interpret that the wrong way. I really like the beats of Goblin, and that's kind of what Lemonhead reminded me of, and I really liked it. It was very like kind of dark sounding for Tyler. I haven't listened to it too much since that time just because I overplayed the heck out of it, but I really enjoyed it when I listened to it at the time. It's very like beach-like and kind of took me to a beachy time and just like, oh, it was very nice. I really liked it. And the number 10 I just kind of added on here last minute, and it is Worst Party Ever's Dartland. My favorite track off this one was probably Where's Jack? So this one just came out, I think a few days ago or today, like when I'm recording it, and I really enjoyed it. I don't think it has as much of an impact as some of the other albums I've talked about. It doesn't like stick out too much to me, but for Worst Party Ever, it's definitely a lot different than their older stuff because they were just like strictly DIY acoustic guitars, and now it's like very well mastered and it sounds really clean, a little too clean for me, but I still enjoyed it. It reminded me of like 2015, 2016, kind of like indie, slow rock, pop punk. I don't know, there's just like a specific feeling that I can feel from 2016 that I can't describe, but if you listen to it, maybe you'll know what I mean too, but I don't know, it just kind of brought me back there and I really enjoyed it. I can't really think of what it reminds me of. I keep wanting to say Gleamer, but I know it's not Gleamer. Maybe? I don't know, you guys will have to listen to it, but so those were my top 10 albums. No specific order, just some that I really liked. So 2021, there were so many good albums that I don't think I could just sit here and talk about all of them because it'd probably be like an hour-long video. So I have a list of honorable mentions that I'm gonna list off. I have a whole list of them. I believe there's like maybe 15 on here. So I'm gonna start off with some slowcore albums that I absolutely loved and they were so good. First I have A Country Western's Bird Feeder. Fantastic slowcore, very like almost shoegazy slowcore. I know you guys will like it. And then I have Ma-Ki-O's Dog Food. Kind of the same thing, very shoegazy slowcore. A little dark-ish sounding. I love it, it's so good. And then I have Wednesday's Twin Plagues. Again, great. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna call these albums good. I don't know what else to say. And then I have Avlov's Buds. I saw someone pronounce Avlov on TikTok as Uvluv, and I was like, oh, what is happening? I thought I was having a stroke. I was like, is it Uvlov or Uvluv? I'm pretty sure it's Avlov, but yeah, that album has been really good so far. I've been really enjoying it. I'm really excited for new Avlov. Yeah. And then I have Glare's Heavenly. Again, a really good slowcore album you guys will enjoy. And then I have Spirit of the Beehive's Entertainment Death. Good. And then I have two Midwest emo, fifth wave emo bands that came out with albums this year and are both new this year, I believe, as well, which is kind of interesting. I have Home Is Where's I Became Birds. This album kind of came up out of nowhere. Not sure if they're an industry plant. I really hope not. They kind of blew up out of nowhere and they were really good. This album was very your classic Midwest emo sounding album. And then same with Best Dad Ever. Not sure if it's an industry plant or if they're just good and kind of blew up out of nowhere, but I have Best Dad Ever's either self-titled or Nothing Special. Again, your very classic Midwest emo. And then more on like the indie, soft indie side, I have Any Shape You Take by Indigo De Souza. This album was so pretty, very soft, very like mellow-y sounding. I enjoyed it. And then I have Squirrel Flowers Planet I. Again, very soft, very pretty, very angelic album. Enjoyed it. And then the last few I have are kind of like the noise rock albums. They, again, super popular this year. A lot of people were talking about them. I have Squid's Bright Green Field. Very punchy, very in-your-face sounding. Very cool. And then I have Black Country New Roads for the first time. This one was heavily talked about in the little music community scene I'm in on TikTok. Again, very good album. And then lastly, I have Black Midi's Cavalcade, I believe is how you say it. I'm so sorry. But yeah, just again, your classic like noise rock album, super cool. But yeah, holy moly, that was a lot. Those were a lot of my favorite albums this year. I know there's so many that I missed. I didn't want to make this video very long, so I just kind of kept it a little short. I tried to make it a little short, but let me know down below what your favorite album was, or if any of the ones I talked about were your favorite. I'd love to hear, I'd love to know. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I hope you have a very wonderful New Year's Eve and a happy holidays, and sending you all some love. Goodbye.